Right, peeps, I'm back. It's Christmas Eve here, and I've got nothing better to do than talk to you lot, because I've decided what I'm going to do with Saka. And yesterday I didn't have a clue, and the reason I didn't have a clue was because at the time I thought Saka was only out for 2 or 3 weeks, which meant there were a whole kind of plethora of options that looked good. Luis Diaz, Jota, Foden, people like that you could bring in just for a few weeks, try them and see. And if it didn't work, it didn't matter because you just go back to Saka anyway in 2 or 3 weeks. But what's changed is that Saka is now out for probably 6 or 8 weeks at least with a severe hamstring injury. So what's changed now immediately put me back onto Fernandes. We won't muck about here. I've basically going straight back to Fernandes. I haven't done it yet, but I will be if there's any price changes involved. So Fernandes comes straight back in. Now you might say, why is he getting Fernandes in when he only took him out a week ago or 2 weeks ago? And there's a very important difference, peeps. Because when I had Fernandes last time, he was my fourth midfielder. I had Palmer, Saka and Salah and Fernandes. And as a fourth midfielder, he was difficult to keep because of his price. He was too expensive, really, for a fourth midfielder, which was blocking up other areas of my team. So I took him out. But now, as a Saka replacement, he is absolutely perfect because he comes in cheaper than Saka. He's the third midfielder, which means you can still have two cheaper options for your fourth and fifth midfielder. And it takes a lot of a price pressure off the team. You can see I've got Fernandes now, and I've got 3.2 million in the bank. Last time I had Fernandes, I had nothing in the bank because he was the fourth midfielder. And why him? Well, they lost 3-0 at Bournemouth, I hear you say, and they're not very good. Well, as you know, we all know what he's like, don't we? I mean, he's on penalties, corners, great through balls, involved in the attacks, talisman of the team, the fixtures are improving. I mean, he ticks all the boxes, basically. There's nothing not to like. I mean, the last time I had him, he was getting good scores. He was doing well. He hasn't blanked twice in a row since Amorim took over. And the very blanked against Bournemouth. I was watching that game, feeling very regretful that I didn't have him because he could have had quite a few points in that game. He's always involved. He's always playing. He gets the minutes. So really, there's nothing not to like. Anything else is a gamble. People like Foden and that are gambles, aren't they? People like Bowen are shorter term picks and more suited to possibly being a fourth midfielder. People are looking at I watched Mark's Black Box today, and he was talking about getting Sarr in as a replacement for Saka. But I was thinking, well, you can still do that. You can have Fernandes as your third midfielder, and in a few weeks upgrade your fourth midfielder, like someone like Semenyo can go to become a Sarr. But your third midfielder needs to be someone very stable, very solid, who you can play week in, week out. And that's Fernandes. So he's absolutely perfect. So I basically looked no further. As soon as I saw that Saka was out for a considerable length of time, it just made perfect sense. I mean, people are saying he's boring, but there's nothing boring with getting points on a consistent basis. I mean, he's still quite capable of getting a haul. I mean, he got 17 points against Leicester, didn't he? And he's had lots of 9-pointers. Where are we, peeps? We'll have a quick look. See what his points were. I've got very good vibes from him too because I bought him for game week 10, didn't I? I bought him in game week 10. He got 10 against Chelsea. He then got 17 against Leicester. He blanked against Ipswich, only got 2 points, but then he's got 9 points at home to Everton. Blanked away at Arsenal, which is no surprise. Got 9 points at home to Forest, 9 away at City, and then blanked against Bournemouth. But, he looked good, could have had points. He had shots, expected this and expected that. I don't really follow expected stats, but looking at the game, I could see that, he was dangerous. Nothing's changed there. I think United were very jaded from their game against Tottenham during the week, which didn't help them. And I'm thinking, he's a good pick. They've got good fixtures. And he fits very well with my team. Where am I? I'm on the wrong page now, aren't I? Where are we? This one we want. So I think he's got a high ceiling this season. And look, he's get 200 points. So I play him this week. Next week I play him at home to Newcastle, looking good, fits in nicely. Then there's one bad game he's got, and that's Liverpool. But you can quite see here by my team that I can just bench him for that. It's no big problem. I've got Iwobi at home to Ipswich, Semenyo at home to Everton. Just bench Fernandes. I mean, you don't have to play him every single week. And then it's good fixtures again after that. So, perfect. He's a perfect price for a third midfielder. Perfect stability. He gets a minute. Like I said, punts are more for your fourth and fifth midfielder. Your cheaper options. You don't really want to be taking a big punt with your third midfielder, I think. I mean, people are going to go for Foden. Foden could do really well. But the evidence so far, with only one goal all season, and that was in injury time when they already knew they'd lost, it does not bode well for Foden. Ow. I hit my tooth with my glass there, peeps. This blooming blackcurrant thing's jinxed, didn't it? I spilt it all over myself the other week. I'm knocking my tooth out with a glass. Right, where are we? So, Man City. Foden. We're going to have a look at Foden just for a brief second. Although I don't think many of you will be bringing him in, but some of you might. He's done nothing this season, but he did get 230 points last season, which was fantastic. But that was him at the very top of his game. And that was City at the very top of their game, winning the league and all that kind of type of thing. Doing really well. They're a shadow of that team now. Previous seasons he's got 142, 137 and 135. Well, I'll put it to you, peeps. But those totals there, 140, is about what we can expect from him this season. He's going to get games where he scores a goal or two. But whether he can do it consistently or not is still very much up in the air, isn't it? Very much up in the air. Whereas someone like Fernandes, I think we can say, is going to be chipping in with points quite regularly. I mean, Foden's not even on penalties, is he? So the main, like I said, I watched Mark's show. The main thing seems to be people choosing between Fernandes and Odegaard. But personally, Odegaard's never someone I've paid much attention to. Maybe I should do, but I haven't. Whereas Fernandes is more of a known quantity for me. You can see what he does. He's easier to work out. You know what you're getting. So I've just brought him back in, basically. And that's that. I mean, that's all I've come on to tell you, that I'm getting Fernandes in. I can see very few negatives. We can argue that Man United, like I said yesterday, they're getting worse. But although they might be getting worse, Fernandes isn't. Fernandes is like at the heart of everything they're doing. You've got him or Ahmad, I think, basically. But like I said, you can have both. I mean, Ahmad, he's like 5 million. Same as this Saka character people are on about. They're more your Semenyo replacements, your Iwobi replacements. They're not your third midfielder. Son's your third midfielder. Foden if he's doing well. Fernandes if he's doing well. Saka. They're the sort of ones you want in that position there. So he's perfect. I just bring him back in. I'm not worried that the fact I sold him doesn't influence the fact, or you just sold him, you can't get him back. It's meaningless. Doesn't mean a thing. It has nothing to do with how many points he's going to get. Like I said, I took him out because of his price point was very awkward for a fourth midfielder. It's perfect for a third midfielder. So I keep repeating that, don't I, peeps? So that's it. I'm off. I'm going to have my drink now. Like I said, it's Christmas Eve. Got to go to the shops, get something to eat Christmas Day. Starting off Christmas Day with a park run, actually. A Christmas Day park run at 8 o'clock. Wrote one of my FPL mates into coming along with me, actually. You can't run. It's going to be a disaster. I better bring the old those paddles I showed you for Highland flatlining. I think we might need them tomorrow because it's going to be a struggle, peeps. He's got to do 5k. It'll be a warm morning, but it's a good start to Christmas Day, isn't it? Go for a park run and wake up, get going, and enjoy the day. And one thing we've got here, because we're ahead of you lot, we've actually got sport on Christmas Day here. I can watch the darts or American football or whatever. Real Christmassy spirit, peeps. Real Christmassy spirit. It's a bit different here in the UK. When I was in the UK, it was all like cold and you're sitting around eating your turkey and getting drunk and all that sort of thing. Here it's more about getting outdoors. A lot of people go to the beach on Christmas Day and all that type of thing. And it's not really the same as UK Christmas. A lot of people start their camping trips and that on Christmas Day. So me, I just sit here and watch FPL videos, and probably still get drunk, So I keep that tradition going, peeps, I won't lose that tradition anyway. But basically, I'm happy now I've sorted Fernandes out because with Boxing Day coming up, I did not want to go into Christmas Day not knowing who to bring in. Because like I said, I'm going to get wasted and it won't be time for decisions. So all I'll be doing, the only decision I'll be doing tomorrow is making the actual transfer because I've decided what I'm doing and it makes perfect sense. And the other thing, of course, is with Fernandes in the team, like I said, as a third midfielder, it leaves 3.2 million in the bank. So now my Cunha issue, when it arises, is now solved. I can get Isaac if I want him. I don't know if I even want the prick, to be honest, because he's annoyed me. He's got points when I haven't had him. They've got tougher fixtures now. I'm quite happy with my mate Solanke. But I can, if I want, get Isaac, even though he's gone up and up and up in price. I can have Fernandes and Isaac in the team. And in 8 weeks' time, when Saka comes back, it's pretty easy to get him back again, isn't it? It's only 2 transfers. I could have done him with 1 if he was coming back in 2 or 3 weeks. But if he's out for 8 weeks, you're quite happy to spend 2 transfers, aren't you, for it? But the only reason I'd say not go for a solid third midfielder is if you were thinking of getting Haaland back. Supposing you're thinking of getting Haaland, in which case I wouldn't get Fernandes. I would get somebody like Ahmad instead. Somebody of that ilk. So let's see. I can't even afford to do that though, to be honest with you. So if I do that, if I get Ahmad in, I still can't afford Haaland. Even then, peeps, I'd still be short. This is why Haaland, even though he's dropping in price all the time, it's why he's such a blooming liability. So you can see, even though I've got João Pedro, I've got Iwobi, Ahmad and Semenyo, 3 cheap midfielders, and a 4 million defender and all that, and cheap keepers, I'm still 1.8 million short of getting Haaland back in. And that's why I don't want him. I'd much rather move to a forward line like Wag's got, of Jackson, Solanke and Isaac. And I can have that. I can actually have that now. But not with Fernandes. But for a short term, I can have Fernandes and Isaac. So sometime in the future, Fernandes might become an issue, his price. You could go for an Ahmad instead. Turn Cunha into Isaac. And then do Pedro to Jackson. Maybe I should consider that actually. That's quite good, isn't it? So that's another late entry into the options. But yeah, that's a possibility, doing something like that. It's quite nice actually, isn't it, that one? I'm distracting myself now, peeps. Look what you've done. You made me change my mind. But I'm pretty sure actually I will be getting Fernandez in. I'm not too sure about Ahmad. I mean, is he going to play every game? He's probably going to be rotated more than Fernandez. He's not on penalties. He's going to get less minutes in the games he does play. So, I mean, he's cheaper for a reason, of course. I mean, he's still going to get a decent option for his price, isn't he? But he's probably more of a Semenyo replacement. But if you are looking at this forward line, then he is an interesting option. Because I don't know about Pedro. Is Pedro still really serviceable as a third striker? I mean, he's done nothing lately, has he? Nothing. So that could be a late contender, peeps. If I don't go with Fernandez, that will be a late contender. But I'm pretty, once I've had a few mince pies, a few glasses of whiskey, anything could happen to this team. So I've got to lock it, lose the password, and just get Fernandez in. Anyway, peeps, I'm off now. So have a good Christmas, and I'll be talking to you all sometime after Boxing Day, because there's going to be another round of games coming up, isn't there? Before too long. And that will be game week 19, when I suspect we will be talking about that exact thing. What to do with Fernandez. Don't know if I was going to want Isaac, aren't I? I am going to want him because I know that immediate fixtures aren't fantastic, are they? Not, Villa, Man United and Tottenham. But then they've got Wolves, Bournemouth, Southampton and Fulham coming up. So I probably am going to want Isaac at some stage. I don't think I'm going to want Haaland. I'm pretty sure I am not going to want Haaland. Just because of what I showed you. Just the difficulty involved of getting him. The compromises he made. I mean, we knew that before game week 1, didn't we? That there was a lot of compromises with Haaland. And we papered over his hat-tricks at the start of the season, papered over the cracks. But there were cracks, even when he was doing really well, people were keeping up. People that didn't have him were still keeping up just because of his price. So he has to be playing perfectly to be worth having. And he's not, is he? So that's about it, peeps, So I've talked myself into another option now, haven't I? If not getting Fernandez, but going cheaper and aiming for Jackson. Where have I gone? This new thing they put in, it's always in the blooming way. They've got this, see this, a new manager FDR. So now they've got, it's like a fixture ticker from game week 24. This is on iTeam, FPL team. And it's got like expected points from each game if you use your manager chip on each game. For example, Arsenal away at Leicester are expected to score 8 points. I'd say they'd get 10 points, but you never know. There's always a chance they might not win. But there's not that many upsets either with teams like that. But that's on the FPL team website. But basically that's it, peeps. I've given you a logical reason why Fernandez is the best pick. And I've also given you an alternative strategy of why you might want to go for a cheaper midfielder. So you can have this forward line here of Solanke, Jackson and Isaac. Because to be honest, having Pedro, I'm going to want to change him at some stage, I think. I do think I am going to want to change him. I'm going to want to keep Trent. A lot of people are also going for Trent now. They don't have Saka. So his price went up last night. So the forwards are beastly, aren't they? Well, not actually beastly, are they? I mean, I could easily get someone like Wood under the present structure. Oh, only just, look. Only just. Am I talking myself out of Fernandez? Is Fernandez a lot better than Ahmad? This is what I've got to work out. Or do I even need Isaac? That's another thing. Can I just go with Jackson? I don't know, peeps. I don't know. I'm talking rubbish now, aren't I? So I'm going to get off. And basically, I'm probably going with Fernandez. If I don't go with Fernandez, it'll be someone cheap, which will probably be Ahmad. Because I don't see any other really cheap options. You know, I mean, there's always Rodgers or somebody. But, yeah. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to start thinking about João Pedro shortly. And he is going to become an issue, isn't he, for people? Because he isn't that easy to upgrade, is he? In the sense that he costs money. A lot of people got Isaac a lot cheaper than me. I like Solanke. Like I said yesterday, Solanke's not going anywhere. So we'll have to see. So I'm changing from my stance at the beginning of the video, where I was 100% bringing in Fernandez. I'm now changing it to 70% Fernandez, 30% to Ahmad, with a specific plan to bring in Isaac and Jackson. If I bring in Ahmad, that will be a specific plan. Because we saw that Wags wild card yesterday, and I did like the look at Solanke, Isaac and Jackson. I do not think there's a better option, not a better front three than them, because they're going to be scoring points all the time, aren't they? Pretty much. And I don't think you can say, you know, people are talking about Evan Nielsen. They brought Evan Nielsen in, who was having a fine run, four blanks in a row. You're going to get people like Wood. They're going to go through barren spells. You know, all those kind of level. Welbeck, your Welbecks of the world, and they're all going to do it. Your Raul Jimenez's and all those people. Whereas I think Jackson, Isaac and Solanke, they're just going to keep on producing. They are just going to keep on producing. So you have to decide if you can afford to get them in and also have four midfielders that will keep on producing as well. And there do seem to be more cheaper midfielders in that bracket, especially after what Rodgers did the other day. And you're kind of thinking that the cheap midfielders have got more potential than the cheap strikers in terms of consistently doing it. And you also got the option to bench one of them every week, whereas you don't with your third striker, do you really? I mean, you could bench Pedro for tough games and play, you know, but I just really do like this Solanke, Jackson and Isaac combination. Which is unfortunate because it means I can't have Fernandez if I want that. So that's got me thinking, peeps. Anyway, I've learnt something myself doing this. I don't know if you've learned anything. You probably have learnt that Fernandez is a good option as a third midfielder. But maybe not if you want Isaac, Jackson and Solanke. But most of you won't want Solanke because you've gone off him. But I think those three are very good. In fact, if any of them, I think the one that won't keep up is Jackson. I'd actually rate Solanke above Jackson. I think Jackson could have a lean spell. A very lean spell, peeps. You know, once the carefree nature of their play kind of dissipates as they become part of the championship race, you will see them, you know, he might start missing again. Because we saw that last year, didn't we? There was a lot of pressure on Jackson. And when he's under pressure, he doesn't do so well. He needs to be carefree and enjoying his football to do well. And when they're in the championship race, that might kind of go away again. And he might start missing and fluffing his chances. Anyway, peeps, I'm off now. Like I said, have a good Christmas. and I'll talk to you all later anyway. So cheers for now then, peeps. So remember to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all after Christmas. Anyway, bye for now then, peeps.